Hi folks, welcome back. So this year marks 30 years since I did my national service in the South African Army, and I've been reminiscing quite a bit about that time because of that landmark. And one of the things I was thinking about was how we used to cook our food when we were in the bush. And so we had extended periods of time in the bush, and for some reason our rat packs boys were given fuel tablets, but we were never given a stove to use with them. So we had, fuel, but no stove. So invariably we just came up with our own versions. Now, whether because the national servicemen weren't given the same gear as the permanent guys, I don't know, but we just weren't given stoves. So we all came up with our own, and they were pretty primitive, probably what you'd call a hobo stove these days. And that's really what we came up with to use with our fuel tablets. Now, because they were just made out of old cans and pretty much junk, we all just threw them away at the end of our service. So unfortunately, I'd love to have mine still now, just to sort of reminisce and see what we used. But anyway, I've decided to try and recreate the setup we were using, just for a bit of fun, and I thought I'd share the process with you today. So the system we pretty much all came up with was one can that we used as the stove to hold the fuel tablet, and we often would use another can to make a cup, and that's certainly what I did. So we did have the canteen cup, and this is my army issue one that came with our water bottle, but often we'd be heating up food in this. So we'd have the food in this, and then instead of having to wash it, you could just use your homemade canned cup to make a brew for your tea. And the tea and the coffee were just sachets of powder, really, and you could just dump them into the water after. So you could use the same stove and just pop the can on top. Now, this is a very quick one I just made up this morning, but I'll show you how I went about it. It's very simple. But in the one we were using in the army, and I might try and recreate that as well, we had smaller tins in the rat packs, and so the fuel tablet was much closer to the base of the pot, which makes a lot more sense. This is actually too big. It'll work, but the smaller tin sizes actually are much more effective. So I'll try and create that as well. But this is the absolute simplest, and very quick. Use your knife and it's done. Right, so this first version is simply to make some air vents on the bottom and at the top, and then you just put the fuel tablet in the base, and that's it, good to go. And the other can just slots in on top because they're the same size. Alright, so this one's closer to the size of the originals we used to use. So I just drilled a few more holes in the top just to, once the can's on the top, you want as much airflow as you can. So just put a few more holes in it. Pretty rough, but it'll work. Another thing that's a bit different is that the fuel tablets we used to get in the rat packs were a bit bigger than these ones. So pretty much each tablet was roughly about that size. So I'm going to use 4 of these in each tin, because that's pretty much as close as we had to one tablet. Okay, so I've put the fuel tablets into the stoves. I'm going to use some just light kindling to get it going, and I'm just going to use light to start it. We had matches in our rat packs. Okay, so there's the fuel tablets burning away. And the cup just fits straight on, and with the air vents it should burn quite well. And it's surprising how quickly this water actually heats up. So it's literally been going for about 2 minutes, and it's already getting quite warm. You can actually feel it warming up already, burning away merrily. So the only advantage of the small one, certainly with the fuel tablets, is that obviously the fire is much closer to the can. The larger one, you could cut a bigger vent feed hole and use twigs. Obviously that's what a lot of people do with this type of stove, is actually use small twigs. But certainly for fuel tablets, the smaller one is the way to go. Obviously having the wire handle, which was very quick and easy to make. I think the one we had in the army was slightly thinner wire, so we could make it a bit more neat. But it just gives you a nice quick and easy way to do it. It doesn't heat up, and yeah, quite a nice simple solution. Right, you can see it's starting to get quite hot. Won't be long, I'll be able to have a brew. Obviously I'll put it on slate because, you know, it's going to be pretty hot straight onto the ground. There's always a risk of fire, so that's something to be aware of. Well folks, I hope you enjoyed joining me on my trip down memory lane. Bit of nostalgia from my army days 30 years ago. So anyway, it was a bit of fun, and hopefully it was interesting to watch, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.